long title on this paper I found that I put back that I never had put up before. Please allow me to try to read this thing and stumble through it. I just wanted to get it up on the internet. Wrote it a long time ago. And it's called Climbing Up Another Way. Subtitled, Our True Enemy May Be Closer Than We Think. But anyway, let me try to read it. Child of grace, don't find yourself defending this devilish modern-day false science religion of fallen man. And don't give legitimacy to these professing themselves to be wise so-called experts on God's creation, no matter how many letters they have accompanying their names or useless degrees from their institutes of higher brainwashing that they award themselves with. They are deceivers, or they themselves are being deceived. The idea that mere men are trespassing in and out of God's heaven at will at this very hour is a diabolical deception of Lucifer. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell. Neighbor, if the Almighty put a stop to Nimrod's tower to reach heaven, what makes you think that he has allowed these vain men to succeed in this so-called International Space Station and the supposed moon landing of days gone by? They not only presumably accomplished this miraculous feat on their first try, but later they convinced the masses that they hauled a half-ton dune buggy along with them for their amusement, or as they would say, in the interest of science. My brothers and my sisters, to thine own self be true, and prove all things. Ask yourself, how do these occupants, Ask yourself, how do the occupants of the make-believe ISS bathe themselves? You would think after months on board their pretend spacecraft without a shower, their body odor would be unbearable. For according to their own spokespersons, the ISS has neither a shower or a bath. But we are assured they solved that problem by wiping off with a wet sponge. Really? It's like they are making up their story on the fly. For water behaves itself differently in their fictitious vacuum of their imaginary space. It just floats away as it comes out of the shower head. So these deceivers have painted themselves into a corner and had to come up with another lie. And because the child of grace is a partaker of his divine nature, and it is their first inclination to show a childlike trust in those in authority, they believe them. I don't know about you, but I'm not buying that far-fetched explanation. A wet sponge just won't do me. I by myself require at least 40 gallons of hot water a day to make my presence in close company acceptable. The water problem is just one obstacle, but it alone is enough to debunk the entire charade of their assumed to be true space travel. Dear reader, God has a very firm firmament above our heads, and I am of the opinion that no mortal being holds it within their power to breach through his celestial boundary. Thanks be to Jesus, the prerogative of who will populate heaven's pure world is God alone. But our God is a good God and is rich in mercy, and because of his great love, he has chosen before the world began and before they could do any good or evil a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindred and people and tongues, as innumerable as the sand by the sea, as innumerable as the sands which are by the seashore, or as the stars of the heavens. Beloved, any obedient, righteous, or kind act on your part toward God or your fellow man is only an evidence that you are one of his, and not the cause, for he first loved you. Well, anyway, I'm going to put that up on there. I'm never going to get one through one flawlessly, so I just thought I would put it up. I don't think I'd ever put it up. It's called the Climbing Up Another Way. Our true enemy may be closer than we think. Sure does look like that, doesn't it, brother and sister? Anyway, peace and love this afternoon from this old boy down here in Alabama.